Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is enjoying their day. Please subscribe and like the video before continuing. Chapter 1. A Drive Toward Healing. The early morning sun cast soft golden streaks across the Port Charles skyline as Willow Corinthos tightened the seatbelt around her waist. She turned toward Drew Kane, who was adjusting the GPS in the driver's seat of his sleek silver SUV. "You really didn't have to drive me to the retreat," Willow said gently. Drew smiled. "You're getting out of town for the first time since your transplant. I want to make sure you get there safe." Willow's face relaxed. She reached for her bag in the backseat, filled with journals and herbal teas. This wellness retreat was supposed to be a new beginning. A pause from the Corinthos chaos, Michael's growing distance, and her own silent grief over what her body had endured. As Drew pulled away from General Hospital and out onto the highway, neither of them could have known that their path forward would veer terribly off course. Chapter 2. The Interruption. 2 hours into their drive, winding through rural upstate New York, the mood had lightened. Willow laughed at Drew's ridiculous podcast recommendation, and the world outside the window blurred into autumn leaves and fading billboards. Then Drew's phone buzzed. Willow caught the name on the screen, Carly. "Don't you dare answer that while driving," she warned with a smirk. "I wouldn't dream of it," Drew said, silencing the call, though a flicker of hesitation crossed his eyes. Willow tilted her head. "You two okay?" Drew shrugged. "It's complicated." "When isn't it?" Willow looked out the window. "I could say the same about Michael." They sat in silence for a beat before a flash of red caught Drew's eye. A truck, massive, out of control, swerved across the divider and into their lane. Drew screamed. Willow's mouth opened to cry out, but it was too late. The impact tore through metal and glass. The world spun. And then, darkness. Chapter 3. Wreckage. Sirens wailed in the distance. The SUV was upside down in a ravine, crumpled. Smoke hissed from the hood. The windshield had shattered inward. Willow lay motionless, her forehead bloodied, lips slightly parted. Drew stirred first, groaning, blood streaming from a deep gash along his ribs. He turned toward Willow, choking her name. "Willow, Willow." She didn't respond. Adrenaline kicked in. Drew pushed himself through shattered glass, dragging his broken body around to her side of the car. "Stay with me," he begged, gripping her hand. "Please. You survived cancer. You're not going out like this." The sirens grew louder. But to Drew, it felt like the world had slowed to an unbearable silence. Chapter 4. Port Charles hears the news. Back in Port Charles, Michael Corinthos stood in the GH hallway when Sonny and Carly rushed toward him, both with worry etched into their faces. "They were in a car crash," Carly gasped. Drew and Willow. Michael's breath caught. "What?" Sonny nodded grimly. "They flew the ambulance in. They're in surgery now." Michael staggered back. "Which one?" Carly didn't answer, because no one knew yet. Chapter 5. The Operating Room. Inside the trauma bay, chaos unfolded. Willow was being prepped for emergency surgery, internal bleeding, a shattered femur, and a collapsed lung. Meanwhile, Drew lay unconscious in a separate OR, his pulse weak, but steady. The doctors worked quickly, but his body had taken the brunt of the hit. Dr. T.G. Ashford stood over Willow, sweat beading at his brow. "We're losing her. We need to intubate now." He had seen Willow fight for her life before. He'd seen her cheat death. He prayed she would again. Chapter 6. Ghosts in the Fog. In a misty void between life and death, Willow wandered barefoot, wearing the white dress she'd never gotten to wear at her wedding reception. She turned. There stood Harmony, her adoptive mother, the woman who had betrayed her and loved her in equal measure. "Mom," Willow whispered. Harmony smiled, but it was tinged with sorrow. "You've come a long way, Willow. You've made peace, but it's not your time." "I want to go back," Willow said, eyes filling with tears. "I want to live, for Wiley, for Amelia, for Michael." Harmony's expression shifted. "Then fight, sweetheart. But someone else has to go." Willow gasped. "No, The fog faded. Chapter 7. The Wake-Up Call. 3 days later, Willow opened her eyes. Michael sat beside her, his head resting on the edge of the hospital bed. The moment he felt her shift, he jolted awake. "Willow," he whispered, disbelief etched in every line. "Hey," she croaked. He wrapped his arms around her, sobbing. "You're alive. You're okay." She nodded weakly, then her eyes widened. "Drew." Michael froze, and she knew. Chapter 8. The Goodbye. Drew had never regained consciousness. Carly had spent hours by his side, replaying their last conversation, hating herself for the stupid fight over Nina, over Sonny, over trust. Sonny had stayed silent, respectful. On the 4th day, Drew's vitals failed. GA staff worked tirelessly to revive him. But the injuries were too severe. And just like that, the man who had survived Afghanistan, memory wipes, and mob wars was gone. Carly collapsed against the wall, screaming. Michael held her. And Willow? Willow wept until her stitches threatened to reopen. Chapter 9. Letters Left Behind. A week later, Carly handed Willow an envelope. "I found this in his glove compartment," she said, her voice raw. "He wrote it before your trip." Willow opened it slowly. "If you're reading this, something went wrong. But don't you dare blame yourself. Life throws pain at us, Willow. You and I both know that. But the trick is to find your next breath and take it. Then the next one. Keep living. For all of us who can't. And thank you for letting me care about you, for letting me protect you. Drew." Chapter 10. The Shift. In the following weeks, Port Charles rallied. GH hosted a memorial for Drew in the hospital garden. Sam, Scout, Danny, and Carly each spoke. Even Sonny shed a tear, unashamed. Willow, still using crutches, stepped forward. "I wasn't family," she said quietly, "but Drew treated me like I was. He was loyal when he didn't have to be, kind when I couldn't be kind to myself. He died saving me, so I'll live like someone worth saving." Her voice broke, and I'll never forget him. Epilogue. Life After Impact. 6 months later, Willow sat by the lake with Amelia asleep on her lap. Michael was nearby, teaching Wiley to skip stones. A warm breeze stirred the trees. She looked up at the sky and whispered, "I'm still breathing, Drew. Just like you said." In the distance, a faint hum of tires on gravel passed by, and she didn't flinch this time, because she had survived, and someone had loved her enough to make sure of it. To be continued. Willow's road is forever changed, but her strength only grows. As Port Charles mourns a hero, a new chapter begins, one filled with redemption, remembrance, and resilience.